Electric vehicles, EVs, were once seen as the future of transportation, with projections predicting massive growth year after year. But now, something unexpected is happening. EV sales are slowing down. Is this just a temporary setback, or is there something deeper going on? In this video, we'll explore the reasons behind the sudden decline in EV sales, and by the end, you might see the future of electric vehicles in a whole new light. Stick around until the end, because the top reason might surprise you. 10. Charging infrastructure gaps. One of the biggest hurdles to EV adoption has always been the availability of charging infrastructure. While the technology behind electric vehicles has advanced, the rollout of charging stations has not kept up. In urban areas, there are more options, but many potential EV buyers, especially in rural and suburban locations, are concerned about the lack of reliable charging points. In contrast to gas stations, which are everywhere, EV chargers are still relatively scarce in many parts of the world. The convenience of being able to refuel quickly at a gas station is something that EVs simply don't offer yet. And for many, the uncertainty of finding a charger when needed is a deal breaker. Some countries and regions are investing heavily in expanding this infrastructure, but progress has been slower than anticipated. 9. Range anxiety. Despite advances in battery technology, many people still experience range anxiety, the fear that their EV won't have enough battery power to complete their journey. While most modern electric vehicles offer a range of 200–300 miles on a single charge, this doesn't fully ease consumer fears. Long road trips, bad weather conditions, or simply the inconvenience of finding a charger can make range anxiety a major concern for potential buyers. Many people are accustomed to the convenience of stopping at a gas station and refueling in just a few minutes. In contrast, even the fastest EV chargers can take 20–30 minutes to provide a decent charge, and that's if you're lucky enough to find a fast charger. This leads to a perception that EVs aren't as practical for long-distance travel, which slows down their adoption. 8. High upfront costs. Electric vehicles are generally more expensive upfront compared to their gas-powered counterparts. While the cost of EVs has been coming down in recent years, they're still out of reach for many consumers. The high price tags of popular models like the Tesla Model S or the Porsche Taycan create the perception that EVs are luxury items, only accessible to the wealthy. Even though many governments offer incentives and tax rebates to make EVs more affordable, the sticker price is still a significant barrier for many people. Plus, there's often the additional cost of installing a home charging station, which can add several $1,000s to the purchase price. This has led some consumers to opt for traditional gasoline vehicles, which are perceived as more affordable in the short term. 7. Limited model availability. Another issue slowing down EV sales is the relatively limited variety of models available. While traditional gasoline-powered vehicles come in a wide range of shapes and sizes, from compact cars to large SUVs and trucks, the selection of electric vehicles is still somewhat limited. Although this is improving as more automakers enter the EV market, many consumers feel like they don't have enough choices to meet their specific needs. For example, there's still a lack of affordable electric pickup trucks, which are hugely popular in markets like the US, where trucks are a top-selling vehicle category. Until consumers see a wider range of EV options that cater to different lifestyles and needs, sales growth may remain slower than expected. 6. Battery longevity concerns. Many potential EV buyers are worried about the longevity of the battery. Over time, batteries degrade, which can lead to reduced range and performance. While most EV manufacturers offer warranties on their batteries, the thought of having to replace an expensive battery pack is enough to make some consumers hesitate. People are accustomed to driving their gasoline cars for over a decade without major issues. In contrast, the idea of a battery losing a significant portion of its capacity after just a few years raises concerns about the long-term value of an EV. This uncertainty around battery lifespan and the cost of replacement is a key reason why some buyers are sticking with traditional vehicles for now. 5. Supply chain disruptions. The COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent global supply chain disruptions have also played a role in the EV sales slump. Many automakers, both traditional and electric, have faced delays in production due to shortages of essential components like semiconductors. This has led to long waiting times for consumers who want to purchase an electric vehicle. Even as the world begins to recover from the pandemic, supply chain issues are still lingering. Automakers are struggling to meet the growing demand for EVs due to shortages of critical raw materials, including lithium, cobalt, and nickel, which are essential for making batteries. This has not only slowed down production, but also contributed to the high prices of electric vehicles. 4. Rising electricity costs. As electricity prices rise in some regions, owning an electric vehicle is starting to look less financially attractive. One of the main selling points of EVs is that they're cheaper to run than gasoline cars, thanks to lower fuel costs. However, in areas where electricity rates have surged, this cost advantage is shrinking. In some places, the cost of charging an electric vehicle is approaching or even exceeding the cost of fueling a gasoline car. This is particularly true for people who don't have access to off-peak electricity rates or those who rely on public charging stations, which can be more expensive than charging at home. For consumers who were drawn to EVs for the promise of saving money, rising electricity costs are a significant deterrent. 3. Lack of government incentives. Government incentives have played a huge role in encouraging the adoption of electric vehicles. In many countries, buyers can receive tax credits, rebates, or other financial incentives to offset the higher upfront cost of EVs. However, as these incentives begin to phase out in some regions, EV sales are taking a hit. For example, in the US, federal tax credits for Tesla and General Motors vehicles have expired, leading to a slowdown in sales for these brands. Without these incentives, many consumers are less motivated to switch to electric, especially when gasoline prices are relatively low. Governments are re-evaluating their policies on EV incentives, but the lack of support in key markets is causing sales to slump. 2. Consumer loyalty to gasoline vehicles. There's also a deep-rooted consumer loyalty to gasoline-powered cars that can't be ignored. For many people, the traditional combustion engine has been a reliable, familiar technology for over a century. While electric vehicles offer many advantages, there's still a level of skepticism among some consumers about making the switch. Some drivers enjoy the sound and feel of a gasoline engine, while others are simply hesitant to adopt a new technology they don't fully understand. Automakers need to do more to educate consumers on the benefits of EVs and address common misconceptions if they want to overcome this resistance. 1. Economic uncertainty. Finally, the overall state of the economy plays a huge role in the EV sales slump. With inflation rising and many people feeling the pinch of economic uncertainty, big purchases like a new car, especially an expensive electric one, are being delayed or reconsidered. When consumers are uncertain about their financial future, they're less likely to take the plunge into a new, potentially more costly vehicle. As people tighten their budgets, they're opting for cheaper alternatives, like used gasoline cars, which are more readily available and often come with a lower price tag. Until the economy stabilizes, this trend of cautious consumer spending will likely continue to impact EV sales. So, there you have it. The top 10 reasons behind the sudden decline in EV sales. While electric vehicles still hold incredible potential for the future, these challenges are slowing down their growth. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. And remember, the future of transportation is electric, but the road to get there might be bumpier than we expected.